Welcome back to Data Playground, and it's me, Gabriel Udio, again. So today we're going to be doing something different. This video is not a theory video, it's a lot practical. We are going to be building a real working project together from a completely empty Google form all the way to a live dashboard that updates itself in real time. So one of the problems that most data analysts have is that during your analysis, you collect messy data first, and then you spend hours, sometimes days, cleaning it before you even start analyzing anything. And so most beginners think that's just how it works. So in this project, we are going to try to flip that completely. We are going to design the cleaning logic before a single response even comes in, so that the moment someone submits a form, their data automatically gets cleaned, gets calculated, and is shown on a dashboard automatically. So there's not going to be any manual cleaning, no copy pasting, no waiting. It's like we are trying to bypass the whole data cleaning process, which is actually going to save a lot of time, because a lot of analysts spend about 60% to 70% of their time trying to clean data. So we are trying to eliminate that phase now. So every single tool we are going to use today is 100% free. We're going to make use of Google Forms for collecting data. We are going to make use of Google Sheets for storing that data. We're going to make use of what we call Google App Script. Google App Script is built on JavaScript. So yeah, it's worth knowing, right? But then you can still find your way around it. I'm going to explain anyway. Don't worry about that. So AppScript is just a simple way to write code that automates things inside Google Sheets to do the cleaning. It's actually going to be more of like an extension. And then we are going to finalize with Looker Studio to build the live dashboard. Our topic today is also real. We are trying to study, how electricity access affects people's lives across different areas in Nigeria, and we are going to be looking at questions like how many hours of light do people get, how much do they spend on generators or solar, is having more electricity, does it mean that people get more work done when there's more electricity, how does it affect their satisfaction, and by the end, of course, we are going to have real numbers that's going to tell us real story. So let's get into it. Before we touch on it too, and I mean this seriously, I should have closed my Google Forms, but I'm going to leave it open anyway. So before we touch on it too, we need to know exactly what we are trying to find out. And this is the same analyst mindset which we talked about in our second video. And mind you, if you are new to this channel and you've not been following our videos from scratch, you can check out our playlist on where we are trying to walk through the whole data analysis process from start to finish. For now, but I feel like what's today's date? Today is what's today's date? I think today is 12th of July 2026. So if you are watching this video on the 12th of July 2026, you've not missed much. You probably just need to watch two videos if you're starting out. But if you're not also starting out, this project is still for you, because you might want to build your portfolio. And so yeah, you find this project useful in your career. So here are the 5 questions that this project is built around. I created a text document. Don't worry about it. I'm going to share this text document. I'm going to share the link to this text document so that you can have it if you need to make reference to it. So the first question we're going to answer is, how many hours of electricity do households get every day, and how does that change depending on the area they live in? That's the very first question we are going to try to answer. The second question is, how much of their monthly income do households spend on alternative energy like generators or solar? The third question is, which alternative energy sources are most common, and do richer or poorer households use different one? The fourth question is, does having more electricity access mean people get more productive hours in their day? And the list is, does having electricity access make people more satisfied with their quality of life? Ordinarily, we might want to say, yeah, we can go ahead to answer these questions by making assumptions, but we want to try to allow our data to tell us the story. So most beginners actually skip a particular step whenever they are starting out projects like this, and it could actually turn into a mess later. So before we build our form, we are going to try to map out every single column that we are going to need. Now, we need about 15 columns for this particular project. But the very first 10 columns are going to come directly from what people type or select in the form. And the last five, which I would call derived columns, that means by derived column, I mean nobody is going to type them in. Our script which we are going to write, our app script, is going to calculate, generate these columns automatically from the other columns. So let me walk through what these 15 columns are going to be. Our first column is what we are going to call timestamp. Now Google Forms automatically adds this. We are not going to be building this. Every time someone enters a response at a particular time, is going to build up our spreadsheets using that particular time that the response was entered. Now, the column 2 is what we call area. Now, the area column is going to tell us which neighborhood someone lives in. The third is the household size, how many people live in that home. The fourth is the daily grid hours, how many hours of electricity they get from the grid. The fifth column is going to be the alternative energy sources that they have. What backup power do they use, like generator or solar? The sixth is on monthly income. Seventh is how much money they spend on energy or backup power every month. The eighth is on productive hours. How many hours a day do they spend working or studying? The ninth is life satisfaction. How happy are they with their life considering their energy situation? And then the last but not the least, column 10, is the biggest challenge that they face, which is what their number one, energy related frustration. So these are the columns that we are going to build our Google Forms around. And like I said, our data sheet is going to be populated automatically. So let's try to build the form now. So you simply go over to your browser and just enter forms.google.com. This is going to go to your Google Forms, and we are going to create a blank form. See, blank form here. So you have the plus sign. We're going to create a blank form, and for this form, we are going to name the form. Let's see. I think I saved something here. Yeah, community energy access survey. So to save time, I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste this here. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing with the description too. For the description, this form, what do I write there? This survey takes less than 3 minutes. Your responses will help. Oh, I think maybe analyze should be S. Anyway, I think that's just slightly different. Your responses will help analyze how electricity affect daily life in your community. All responses are anonymous. So now that we've done that, the next part is I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. I'm going to give you the exact wording and exact options for every single field. What you are going to, like I said, I'm going to share the links to the document where I copied the text from so that you can easily follow along. Now, the reason why is our cleaning script, which we are going to write later, is going to be looking for this exact word. So if you type something that's slightly different, the script would not recognize it and your data won't get cleaned properly too. So please try as much as possible to type this exactly as they are. Okay, so let's start with our first field, and we are going to populate it all the way to our 10th field. All right, so I'm going to go back to that text document, and what's in our first field? Our first is about area. We are supposed to make it a short answer question, and the question is, what area or neighborhood do you live in? We have to mark it as required to. So I'm just going to click here, right? I'm going to put my mouse there. I'm going to just paste the question there, and I want it, yeah, it automatically change to short answer. And so I'm going to mark it as required. Then comes the plus sign so that we can enter our next question. I'd like our next question to be, how many people live in your household? We built this question based on the columns that we had. Column 3 rather is the household size. Why is column 1 times? I remember I said that Google Forms adds this automatically. That's why it's on column 1. Column 2 is what the first question we type field 1, that is area, and then column 3 is going to take the household size. So how many people live in your household? It's also going to be a short answer. People are free to type any particular number, so I'm going to change it to short answer too, and we are just going to make it a required question. going to put the plus sign, and then the next question would be on the daily grid hours. We are going to make this a drop down. And so how many hours of electricity do you receive daily on average? Okay, so put that there, and I wanted to be a drop down. So we are going to add options, of course. These are four options: 0 hours, no grid supply; 1 to 3 hours; 4 to 6 hours; 7 to 12 hours; and then more than 12 hours. So I'll start with the first one: 0 to 0 hours, rather. Sorry, I was about to say 0 to 0. So 0 hours, no grid supply. Second option is going to be um 1 to 3 hours. The third question, the third option rather, is going to be 4 to 6 hours. Okay, and then the last option is also, that's not the last option actually. The next option is going to be 7 to 12 hours. Um, okay, and the last that we have there is going to be more than 12 hours. Oh wow, something feels. Oh yeah, I thought it. Oh wow, why do you have five options and then we have an option three there? That should not be there. Okay, so I think it's balanced now. 0 hours, no grid supply; 1 to 3 hours; 4 to 6 hours; 7 to 12 hours; and then more than 12 hours. So we're going to just make this required also, and then we can move forward. Thank you. So our next question is going to be on the alternative energy source. What is your primary alternative energy source? So this of course is required. What's your primary alternative energy source? How do you make it? Let's make it this multiple choice. Yeah, it's already selected as multiple choice. So I'm just going to add the options. You have petrol, diesel generator; you have solar panel, inverter, battery system, candles or kerosene lamps, and then none. I rely on the grid. Yep, in Nigeria. Thank you. So petrol diesel generator. The first option, I've put that there already. And then the second option is we are going to try to copy and paste the solar panels in our Google Forms. So let me copy that. Solar panels. I'm just going to add the option there. Okay. The third option, inverter or battery system. The fourth option, candles or kerosene lamps. And then the last option, none. I rely only on the grid. So I'm just going to put that there. And then again, I'm going to make it required. It's a required question. Um, okay, so let's add the next question there. The next question is going to be on monthly household income. What is your monthly household income? So I'm just going to Control C, put that there. I think we're going to make it drop down. Yeah, we're going to make this one drop down. Drop down. Yeah. So the very first one is below 50,000. I was going to paste that there. The second one is 50,000 to 100,000. The third is 100,001 naira to 200,000. And the fourth is going to be 200,001 naira to 500,000. And then you have above 500,000 to, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And then we do have something here. Prefer not to say. Prefer not to say. Yeah. Because I mean, some people might not want to say their income. Even if it's an anonymous form, not everybody feels safe talking about their income. So let's move forward to the next question. The next question is going to be, how much do you spend monthly on alternative energy like generator, fuel, solar maintenance, etc.? So we are just going to paste that question there, And how we keeping? We're keeping it as a drop down also. So that's going to be a drop down. And the first option is nothing. I don't use alternatives. That's cool. How do you? Oh, I think alternative might mean that you are relying on the grid completely. Anyway, let's continue. We're going to see who's going to pick that. Then we have below 5,000. We have 5,000 to 15,000. We have 15,000 to 30,000. We have 30,000 to 50,000. Then we have above 50,000. Uh, this face seems. Anyway, do we still have another question there? Yeah, we still have about three questions left. Seventh question is going to be, how many hours per day do you spend on productive activities, either work or study? So we are going to add that also. Just going to press this. I'm going to paste the question here. And how we keeping it? Let's try to keep it as a drop down here. And option one is less than 2 hours. So I'm just going to paste that there. Option two is 2 to 4 hours. I'm going to paste that there. Option three is 5 to 7 hours. I'm going to paste that there again. Option 4 is 8 to 10 hours. And then the last option is more than 10 hours. All right, I think we're making good progress. Again, we are going to mark this as required. We want to make sure that nothing is actually skipped. We're trying to make sure that we are building. We want to make sure that there's no field that is going to be empty at the end of the day. That's the purpose of what we are trying to do here. So we are going to add another question again. How satisfied are you with your current quality of life, considering your current energy situation? So of course this should be multiple choice. We're going to make it multiple choice, and then we are going to make it required, and these are the options that are here. We have very dissatisfied. Well, first of all, let's try to make it a required question first before we populate it. So required. Now we have very dissatisfied. I'm just going to copy and paste that there. We have oh, sorry. We have dissatisfied. We have neutral. Like I said, you won't have to type every single thing that's in this video, because I'm going to share the text documents for this particular project, so you can just copy and paste where necessary. The whole idea is for you to be able to follow along and be able to reproduce this. So I've marked that required already. So I think we're left with just one last question, which is, what is your biggest energy related challenge? So I'm going to paste that there, and we're going to make it multiple choice. It's a required question, and these are the options that are there. So I'm going to make it required, and this of course is multiple choice. So what are some of the energy challenges? A person will be facing the issue of unpredictable energy supply or power supply. Then we have high cost of fuel is another issue. Then we have cannot afford solar installations. We have frequent equipment damage from power surges. And then we have no electricity infrastructure in my area. So that's all on these forms. We've successfully built our forms. So now next we are going to connect this form to a spreadsheet. Now, the reason why we are doing this because we need somewhere for these responses to land. So inside this Google Form editor, we can see this tab, the responses tab, right? In this tab, we can see where we have link to sheets, right? So we are going to click that and we are going to create a new spreadsheet from this. So I'm going to just click create and takes us to a new spreadsheet. You can see it loading here. Yep. So if someone enters a response in that form, we expect that we should see it in our spreadsheet. Oh, and before I proceed, it would be nice to name your form. Yeah, I'm going to name it Community Energy Access Survey so that it can automatically save as this. Yep, makes a lot of sense. I like that now. So yeah, so we have our spreadsheet now, and you can see that all the column names have been updated. Timestamp, what neighborhood do you live in, how many people live in your household, and what have you. So I think it would be nice to just expand. To expand, you need to double click on this. It's going to readjust the column to fit the actual size. So all these lines that are here, just double click. You can see the columns are expanding. So do that for all of them. How many? You can see all the questions have been automatically put here by just that simple stuff that we just did now. So we have everything looking at us here. Our spreadsheet has been populated. The columns have been populated. So what we are going to do now is that first, let's try to rename the sheet that is here. We are going to, let's name it, let's say auto pipeline energy access data. Auto, let's say pipeline energy access, how, yeah, energy access data. So I think we are good to go now. So automatically, we have this. All our 10 column headers are sitting here looking at us, including the timestamp. So that's good. Now, but this sheet that we're looking at here is just going to contain our raw data. And of course, raw data is uncleaned. So we can't touch this tab directly. This is going to sit here just as our original record. So what we are going to do, we are going to set up where our cleaned data is going to live. And to do that, we are going to need a second tab. So to create a second tab, comes this plus sign that you have here, and where you have see add sheets. I'm going to click it, and then we are going to rename it to clean data. You can just double tap on it, and then or you can right click if you want. So anyway, anyone works fine. Oh, sorry, I like to put why yeah, thank you. So it's done. So we have two sheets now. We have our form responses and then we have clean data. Now for clean data, I want you to populate it as it is. Like I said, it's important that you are very careful of what is written and the spelling, because our app script is going to be built on these things that we enter here. So I want us to enter these 15 um, column names. Again, let's come back here to where we have timestamp. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to paste it there. And then I'm going to the next place. Next place should be area. I'm going to paste. I'm going to come to the next place, household size. Let's see, I like this to completely copy. Household size. I'm going to paste that there. And then I'm going to get daily grid hours. Yeah, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste that there. I'm going to get alternate energy sources. I'm going to paste that there. I'm going to get monthly income. Paste that there. Let's just do it for all. We have energy spending. We have productive hours. We have life satisfaction. We have a biggest challenge. Now, I'm going to explain. When I'm done with this, I'm going to explain something to you. We have income numeric, for example, here. We have spending numeric. We have grid hours numeric. We have productive hours numeric. And then we have energy burden percentage. Okay, so let me quickly give a simple explanation of what's happening here. Now, our first 10 columns: timestamp, area, household size, daily grid hours, alternative energy source, monthly income, energy spending, productive hours, life satisfaction, and biggest challenge. These first 10 columns, they are going to come from our forms. Our form, right? When someone enters a particular detail in the form. Now, these last five columns are going to be generated by our app script. Like we have income numeric, spending numeric, productive hours, and then energy burden as a percentage. Now, this is what our app script is going to work on. It's going to do the conversion for us, right? So that's why I said these last five columns are derived columns. Our app script is going to bring them to life. It's going to populate them on its own based on the script that we're going to write. So let's proceed to look at the script now. Now, this script is like, I think I would like to call it the brain of this project. So it's a very important part. So try not to rush through it, and don't worry if it looks like a lot of code. I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain every piece of it in plain English before we even move on. Now, truth be told is that as a data analyst, you might not always need app scripts. It's worth learning. Like I said, it's built on JavaScript. It's worth learning, but truth be told is that you might not always need it. There are a few things that you can actually, automate by prompting your AI. You can automate some of these things, right? Like this app script, the script was auto. I prompted AI for it to get the script I needed. I really don't know JavaScript and I really don't know app script, but I'm going to try as much as possible to explain what's in here for you. So first of all, before you to find app script, you come to where you have extensions here. You click on extension and you can see app scripts. So it's going to open for you. The tab is loading and we are just going to create a new script here. So first of all, okay, you're currently signing at that's me. So you're currently signing at this person. Sorry, I'm going to just do Control A and get this out of the way. I'm going to copy and paste the scripts that we have here. And don't worry if there's a lot of code and whatsoever. We're not going to type this from scratch. So, and I'll send the text document for you so you can just copy through and be able to follow. So, Control A, Control C, and Control V. Wow. So this is what we have here. Form, functions on submit, blah blah blah. There's so many details. Might feel overwhelming, but we are going to save this. We are going to save this as something that we need. Like I said, first thing you do is you're going to see a code and try to delete whatever is in there. So before we continue, let's talk about this particular code and let's talk about the script and what it's doing. Now, what the script does for you is that every time someone submits the form, this function that you are looking at is like it runs automatically, and the very first thing it does is to find the form responses tab and the cleaned data tab, and then it looks at the very last row that of the raw data, meaning whatever was just submitted, and then it's going to pull all 10 answers out of it. That's exactly what this you can see of your how do I even how do I make this easy? How do I make Okay, so take a look at this. You have we named a variable ss spreadsheet app does get active spreadsheets here and what have you. Then we created a new variable which we call raw sheet. Now this raw sheet is going to be referencing the form responses one. Now if you go back to your spreadsheet, can you see here? You have form responses one, and then you have the second sheet is what clean data. Now let's go back to our app scripts. The same thing happens here. The clean sheet is going to be referencing the clean data. That is going to be putting values in the clean data. Why this one is going to be putting values in the what in the form responses one. This app script is going to control the whole process for you. Sorry about that. So you can see your timestamp, you can see area, household size, and what have you. All these would help collect the data that a person is typing in the forms and then be able to put them in your clean data sheet for you here. So when we populate this, yeah, it's going to make sense to you. What this and that's that this script does for you is that every time people naturally might type names differently because we are using a shorthand. For example, someone might type, let's say, Lekki, and the person might use all capital letters there. What this does for you is that it's going to change only the first letter to uppercase. For example, okay, you have I put comments here. You have area. Now, area, whatever a person types that is here, right, is going to return the first letter is going to be uppercase. For example, if a person types Ikeja in all small letter, the first letter is going to be Ikeja, and then the remaining parts are going to be kept in what lowercase. Now, the next thing that it does for you is to also check the household size. This is the code that checks the household that cleans the household size for you. Whatever number that someone types, you understand, it may actually be a real number, it may actually be a usable number, like maybe 4, 5, 6 or whatsoever. But if someone types letters by mistake or left it blank, the script is going to set it to blank instead of crashing or storing garbage. For example, if someone types, instead of typing number 4, the person types 4 as a spelling like FOUR. What it's going to do is that if the person types FOUR as 4, the script is going to put that particular data as blank in your data sets, right? Instead of allowing it to crash. This is going to be very useful for your analysis. The other part is that this script is also going to turn grid hours to numeric values. That's another thing that this is going to do. It's going to help you turn the grid hours to numeric values, which will be very, very useful. For example, in our form we had something like this. Sorry about this. Someone might pick 1 to 3 hours, right? Now, if someone picks 1 to 3 hours, now that's actually just it's more like a text, it's more like a range of values, but you can't do maths with a range of values. So this script is going to help to convert each range into a single usable number. For example, if someone picks 0 hours, the script is going to take that as 0 in your data set. If someone picks 1 to 3 hours, it's just going to find the average. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it's going to take it as 2. Someone picks 4 to 6 hours, going to give an average of 5. The same is 7 to 12 hours. You are going to be having 9.5. More than 12 hours, we just take it as 15. And then, I'm sorry about that. Else, you keep it as null. Null. Yeah, thank you. So then we are also going to try to turn income into a real number. Same idea. If someone picks a range of value, an income range, that's actually not a number. For example, 50,000 to 100,000 is not a number. So what we're going to do is to keep it as like an average value, so we can actually be able to we can be able to do real math with it later. The same thing happens with turning spending into a real number, turning productive hours into a real number, and then pulling out just the satisfaction score. In our satisfaction scores, right, I'm going to get to this particular place here. Now, from our forms, we can see that for satisfaction scores, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have very dissatisfied, neutral, satisfied, and very satisfied. What our script is going to do for is that it's going to pull out only the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we also have now the most powerful part here is trying to look at the energy burden percentage in our data set. Now if you check our data set, we have a particular point that we call energy burden percentage. Now this calculation is going to perform by the scripts. Nobody types this in or whatsoever. Nobody was ever asked for it. The script just calculates it itself by taking someone's energy spending and dividing it by their income, then multiply by 100 to get a percentage. So what this does for is that it's going to tell us, what percentage of a person. Okay, let me just make you understand this. For example, if someone spends, let's say, 5,000 naira on energy uh sources each month, and the person's income is about 50,000 naira, what this script does for is that it says the 5,000 divided by the 50,000, get your answer, then multiply by 100 to convert to percentage. So that's what this script does for us. So, and finally, then the last part of this script now is that it writes down all the values into our cleaned data sets, right? Takes them and put everything in our clean data tab. So it's possible I might not have been able to explain app scripts for you from scratch to finish in a way that you understand it fully, but now you at least get the whole idea. You understand what the whole of this script is trying to do for you, but you might not necessarily understand all these VAR, on form submit e and what have you. Like I said, I myself, I really don't know JavaScript, and I really don't know app scripts. But if you know how to prompt AI, you can generate some of this by yourself. It's worth learning eventually. Like I'm going to learn it too. It's worth learning eventually. You too can, try to learn it just like I'm going to learn it eventually too. But for now, you are building this project because you want to know that you can actually automate the data cleaning process. So let's proceed. Our scripts at the moment exist, but it's actually not connected to anything yet. We need to activate what's called a trigger. So, but before we proceed, I think we should just try to. First, I'm going to try to save this project with, let's say, auto pipeline app scripts. Yeah. Just going to rename it with that, or so maybe okay. Now I think we should create a trigger here. Now if you get to this point here, if you okay, I'm going to hover on this. Now if you hover on this, you can see where we have triggers, right? So you can go to trigger. We can't see anything here. We are seeing no result. So what we are going to do is that we are going to um create a trigger first of all. So let's try to create add a trigger. Oh, sorry. um oh, sorry about this. um oh, I should have done this first. um oh, yeah, yeah, create a new. So we are going to create a new trigger. um I'm supposed to see which function to run here. Why is it saying you cannot create a trigger without a target function? Please add functions to the attached script. Is there anything I missed? Let's see. I think I've done everything correctly. I'm just going to say, where's my editor? I think I should have I saved this? Oh, wow. Oh, I guess I did not save it, so I should click run instead. Um, oh, yeah. So this is what I was looking for. Review permission. So of course you need permission to be able to, prove. Of course, you are definitely going to see something like this. Google hasn't verified the app, so just come to advanced and then go to auto pipeline app scripts. I don't know how it's saying unsafe. But anyway, select all and then continue. So let's see what we have: authorization successful, execution started, execution completed. Let's see if we still need to create a trigger again. We might, yeah. So now we can create a trigger, add trigger, yeah, on form submit, event type on form submit, please. So we have on form submit, we have head. Please ensure that your interface is selected with these options as you are seeing mine here too. So after doing this, we can you can then save what you have here. And let's see, why do I have why is this blocking? Always allow, yeah, please always allow to save. Yeah, thank you. Just in case you face an issue like that, so you just know what to do. Turn off your pop-up blocker. Go to this, and yeah, just going to select all and then continue. And so it should work fine now. Let's see. Yeah, so it's done. So I'm just going to go back here and to our editor. I'm going to click run again, and let's be sure that everything is working fine. The insurance execution completed. All right, so I think we are good to go now. So let's try to test with a real submission. First you are going to go back to your form that is here. Click on publish, and let's see, anyone with the link. Yes, let's publish it. And I'm going to copy this URL, and I think we should maybe create a new, or yeah, I'm just going to paste it in this tab so that we can just be entering the responses as we see them. So let's try with a first response. So we're going to submit this. Let's try to submit a test response here. Where's my notepad? Yeah, this is my notepad here. So what is our test response? Let's test with by filling area as Lekki, all lowercase on purpose, so that we can see if our script is actually working. So we're going to say Lekki, Lekki. How many people live in your household? I think we have four people living in our household. Daily grid size is 1 to 3 hours. We have four people living in our household. Daily grid size 1 to 3 hours. And then alternative, let's choose petrol diesel generator. And then we have monthly income 100,000 to 200,000. Energy spending 15,000 to 30,000. We're going to say 100,000 to 200,000, 15,000 to 30,000. Productive hours is 5 to 7 hours. Quality of life 3. Biggest challenge, high cost of generator fuel. Sorry, I didn't. Okay, yeah, 5 to 7 hours. 3. Biggest challenge is high cost of generator fuel. So I'm going to submit this, and let's hope that our script is working fine. Why do I have why did this? Oh, now thank you. Now the reason why you had this twice, because I think we on our own, without anything submitted, we ran that app script twice, right? So I think to make our work easier for us, I'm just going to delete these two rows. You to read the row, you can right click on the particular row and then come there, you see delete. So now see, notice something. Okay, let me expand this. Let me keep this as they should be. Like I said, double tap to expand your columns. This is high cost of income numeric, all this thing. So now let me explain something to you. The actual response that the person entered was this value that is here. You can see this is timestamp that was automatically generated for you. Now the actual response, Lekki, was entered all small letters Lekki, but because of our script that we wrote, it automatically cleaned this to capital L, then the remaining was small letters. That's how powerful app script is. Does all the work for you behind the scenes. You now, if you have an app script running for you, you won't always have to, carry out manual data cleaning processes for yourself. It just automates everything for you. That's how fine, how nice it does the work for you. So what we are going to do is that we are okay. First of all, like I said, as we can see that we know that our pipeline is working directly. So let's try to populate our data sets with the rest. So I'm just going to say submit another response. We are going to try and submit more responses that are here. All right, so at this point we can see that our data set is fully up to date. Like I said, I'm going to share the text document so you can just follow along with all this. By the time you enter the data as it is in the forms, then you should have a similar data set like this. Your table should be your sheet should be looking should be something like what you are seeing on my screen right now. So our app script has done all the work for us, and we can see it's looking really good here. If you are still confused about how the energy burden percentage is calculated, let's give an example. If someone's income is about 150,000 and the person spends 22,000, what you need to do here, the calculation that AppScript did for is to say 22,500 divided by the 150,000 multiplied by 100. That would actually give you the 15, which is what you have there. So now that we've populated our data set, the next thing that we are going to try to do now is to build our pivot tables, right? Why we want to try to answer our 5 research questions. We are going to try to build one pivot table per question. That's 5 in total, and each of these I think we should use separate tabs for each of these pivot table. So here's how to build each one. Here's how to build. Now to do this first of all, make sure you're on clean data. You can on your keyboard just press Ctrl A to select everything, or yeah, let's just press Ctrl A to select the full data set that we have here, right? And then we are going to go to where you have insert. Before then, let's try to create the separate pivot tables. So go to the plus sign and double click this. We are going to create pivot table. Yeah, I think I like it like this. So our first pivot table, we are going to select this data set that we have here, Control A, and then we are going to go to insert and look at, you have pivot table there. Now we are making reference to our clean data sets. We start from cell A1 to A11. Sorry, from cell A1 to sorry about this. Yeah, we have O11 rather. This is O, not 0, please. So cell A1 to O11. O11 is a cell that contains this 40 that you are looking at there. So we're going to create it in, let's say, an existing sheet. Now this existing sheet is going to be this particular sheet, which are pivot table sheet. So we're just going to reference its pivot table. Yeah, yeah, pivot table, and put this as it is, just so that because you are trying to reference particular cell, I'm just going to place it in cell A1 here. Yeah, so okay, so that's what you have there, and then I'm going to click create. You can see our pivot table has been created. Now before I proceed, pivot tables are summary tables. I just wanted you to have that in mind. The pivot tables are more like summary tables. So now in this pivot table that we just created, it should be called grid by areas. So we're going to select the rows, and then for the row, let me go that again. On this row, we have add, right? So we are going to select the rows, and then we are going to set it to area, and then we are going to, if you go down, you have values here, right? Now values, we are going to set it to grid r numeric. Where do you have grid hour? Yeah, grid hours numeric, and then we are going to change it. That is summarized by. We want to summarize it by average value here. Thank you. So, and I think it would be nice to just name it grid by area. Grid by area. So these are very first pivot table which we just created. So just repeat the same process for the other pivot tables that we have there. But before then, yeah, this is nice now. So just go to your plus sign here and then repeat the same process again. Um, come back here, click insert, and let's see pivot table existing sheets. We're going to just come to this particular point. I'm going to click on this particular, so I'm going to click here. Yep. Sheet 3A1. Okay, but before, okay, just keep it there. Create. We are see, I can always rename the sheet easily. It's not really going to change anything as much. So this second pivot table is we're going want to look at the burden by income. So we're going to set the rows to monthly income. I'm going to set the values to energy burden PCT, values energy burden PCT, and we want it to summarize by average. Now, because we are trying to answer a particular question here, which is what percentage of income goes towards alternative energy based on the various income brackets that we have here. For people in the 100,000 to 200,000 income bracket, you can see that about 10% of their money goes to um, energy sources, alternative energy sources, and what have you. So I think it would be nice to just rename this sheet to it. Let's say burden by income. Yeah, that looks nice there. So we can see this. For people between 200 to 500,000, about 1.7% of their income goes to energy. Then those between 50,000 to 100,000, you have about 30% of their income going to alternative energy sources. Those are above 500,000, you have about 0.3 of their income, and below 50,000. Now, that is actually very interesting because it's like, I mean, someone who earns below 50,000 still spends very high on alternative energy sources. That's something interesting. Something that's interesting that's actually worth knowing. So let's go back to our clean data again. I'm going to insert another pivot table, or is it pivot or pivot? I don't know. Let's just create a new sheet here. Let's just create a new sheet here. You can create an existing sheet, you can create a new sheet. The whole idea is we are going to change the name of the pivot table sheet anyway. It's not really going to change so much in our work that we are trying to do here. So this third pivot table, we are trying to look at the energy source by income. So we're going to put the rows as alternative energy source. That's alternate energy source. And then we are going to set column to monthly income. I'm going to explain. We know we've not added column in any other place here, so this is something interesting. And then we are going to set alternative we're going to set values to be alternate energy source. Set values alternate energy source, and then we are going to summarize, yeah, with this. Now what is happening is that it just counts how many responses falls into each combination. That's what it does here. For example, someone who is earning an income of 100,000 to 200,000, and someone who uses candle or kerosene lamp within this same income range, how many people responded there? None. So you can see that someone who earns between 100,000 to 200,000 and uses an inverter battery system, the, we have one response there. So it's like you are trying to intersect the two. We're trying to intersect two categories together to see how many responses we have at the intersection of those categories. That's the whole point of this here. And so, of course, you can always name it to energy source by income. You just rename it. Double tap and energy source by income. Yeah. So I think we just have about two more pivot tables to deal with, and that will be all So I'm just going to go to insert and new sheet. Now our next sheet is going this one is going to be on productivity by grid. So we're going to just set the rows to daily grid hours, and then we are going to set values to productive hours numeric, and then we're going to set it to average. Productive hours numeric summarized by average. We can always deal with the decimal values later. We can deal with that later. Of course, let's rename this productivity by grid. Productivity by grid. Yeah. We can say productivity by grid hours anyway, or by grid access. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. And then our very last pivot table is going to look at the life satisfaction by grid access. So insert pivot table and then new sheet. So we're trying to look at life satisfaction by grid access. So we're just going to set the rows to daily grid hours. We're going to set the values to life satisfaction, and then we are going to set it, of course, to average. Yeah. So this is what we have here. This is what we have here. Now, what question are we trying to answer at this particular point? Now, we want to know whether electricity access affects how satisfied people are with their quality of life. So, I think it's worth naming this life satisfaction. Satisfaction by grid access. All right. So that's that. Just in case you hit an error, you might hit an error in your case, please. So just in case you hit an error, I just want to let you know about something, because when I did this project the first time, I actually hit an error. So I'm surprised I didn't even hit an error right now. But just in case you hit an error, you might see something like let me write this div, and then you have zero. This is a division by this error arises when you have division by zero. So whenever you hit this error, don't panic. It just means that your pivot table must have picked up an empty or blank group, and maybe try to average nothing, which of course if you divide by zero, or you're trying to find the average of nothing, it's going to break your code. So what you do is, inside this, you can see I decided to hover around this pivot table, and then you can see this pencil mark here. We have edit, right? What you should do then is to go to where you have you search for filters, which is down here, right? When you search for filters, just click on the area, and then you set conditions, that was status. Set your filter, that's click on status, then filter by condition, and you have none, and then click is not empty. That will actually help you to deal with the error, just in case you have such issues. So I just thought to mention it out, because in your case it's possible that you might have that kind of issue, because I know I did at some point when I first ran this project, and I'm so happy I didn't have this kind of error now. So try to do that for all your 5 pivot tables in case you have error. Anyway, let's move forward to the last section of this, which now is to build our live dashboard in Looker Studio. What we want to try to do now is to turn all of this into something visual that anyone can look and instantly understand. So to do this, we are just going to go to lookerstudio.google.com, and we are going to make this interesting. All right, so let's create a new report. You can see create here, click on create, and then come to reports. It's loading, it's loading. So when at this point here, just come down here where you have Google Sheets, right? This is where we want to connect it from, and then look at this is definitely what we just did. Now we have auto pipe. I hope this is it. Yeah, auto pipeline energy access data. So this is it here. So And we're going to select the clean data. When it opens here, select the clean data tab, because this is what we are trying to build our visualizations on. And then click add. Let's see. We should be able to, add, yeah, add to reports. All right, so with this now we can get started with our work. So let's try to add a text box at the top, and we are going to type, maybe community energy access dashboard Lagos. So where's that? Oh, I think you should have insert here. Yeah, click on insert, and then you have text here. So yeah, so you can just draw a simple text box, and yeah, this is nice. So I'm going to just type before then. Let's try to maybe let's use 32. Let's make it bold. Let's make it to be at the center. We can just type community. Sorry, community energy access Lagos. Yep. So maybe I should make this a little smaller. See what happens. Yeah, I think this is nice. Well, we can always change its looks or whatsoever at any point. You are free to I don't want to use the most. I don't want to say mess around, but you can feel free to try out interesting stuff on this interface. So we're going to build 5 charts. The first chart is going to be the average grid hours by area. To do this, we are going to just say come to where you have add a chart, and then you can see bar charts here. So we're going to add a bar chart. We're going to add a bar chart. Let's just add this bar chart here. We can always adjust it after we are done with our work. So we are going to set the dimension to area and then the metric to grid. So if you check here, if you check where you have set up, you have dimension is on area, and then we are going to set the metric to grid hours numeric. Let's say, yeah, we have grid hours numeric here, so you can just drag that, add metric here. Then we are going to take out the record count. Please take out the record count. Yeah, so we have our very first chart, and of course you can rename it. You can title it average daily grid hours by area. How do we add titles again? Okay, at this point come there. Yeah, so I'm going to say average daily grid hours by area. Average daily grid hours by area. Yep, makes a lot of sense. And do we need to? Yeah, I think we should set it to average, since we are working with average. Yeah, let's set it to average. Yeah, makes a lot more sense. So average daily grid hours by area is the metric. How did I get here? I came here and then clicked on the pencil sign to be able to do my edit. Dimension is area, and then the metric is grid hours numeric, which we already set to average, and we've done the editing of the title. So let's just follow the same process. We are going to add another chart again. So this time, let's add another bar chart. Let's add another bar chart, which would just be at this point here. Don't think I want the charts to overlap. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So let's see. What do we have here? So let's set the dimension to monthly income. Let's set the dimension for this chart to monthly income. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to put monthly income there, and then our metric is going to be energy burden percentage, and we are going to set it as average. So energy burden percentage. Where's that? Yeah, that's our metric. And I'm going to click on the pencil sign. I'm going to change it to average, and then the title would be average energy burden percentage by income level. Average energy boarding percentage by income level. Yeah, makes a lot of sense there. So anyway, we can always adjust our layout, the layout of all our charts and what have you. So I'm just going to add a third chart. The third chart, we're going to add a pie chart this time. Um, let's look at average energy source distribution. Let's add a pie chart this time. Average energy source distribution. So what are we going to add there? Let's make our dimension to be alternate energy sources. That's going to be our dimension. Alternate energy sources. Then we are going to make our metric to be record counts. Why are we using record count? Because we want to look at all records for the various alternate energy sources. So metric is going to be record count, and then we just name it. Title. We are going to title the chart our alternative energy source distribution. Yeah, so let me alternative energy sources distribution. Alternative energy sources distribution. Now that's that. Let's add another chart again. Let's try to add another bar chart. Now this bar chart, we are going to look at productive hours by grid access. I'm just going to add this particular one here. Yeah, I think I would like it to be this particular place here. So we are going to, our dimension here is going to be daily grid hours. Daily grid hours is going to be our dimension here. And then I'm going to add productive hours, numeric, and make it average. Productive hours numeric, and then sorry about that. Sorry, I think I should remove this, and then I'm supposed to make this um productive hours numeric, and then I'm going to make it average, and then we're going to title it let's say average productive hours by grid energy by grid access. Average productive hours by grid access level. Okay, and so we just have one last chart to add, and our job is will I say almost done? But anyway, I just want you to know something. At some point you might get an error here. I didn't get any error here, but just in case you get an error, you understand, what you need to do is to just click the little pencil that is next to the metric field. That's this little pencil that is here, and then what you need to do is just change its type from text to number, and then click apply. But I hope you don't get any errors, so you don't have to stress yourself with that. So last one is life satisfaction by grid. Life satisfaction by grid is going to be a line chart. We're going to make it, much larger width, right? So let's try to add a line chart here. I'm going to add this. Sorry about that. Yeah, this should be it. This is more like it. Let's add this line chart here. Yeah. So we're looking at the dimension is going to be daily grid hours. Let's see. Yep. And then our metric is going to be life satisfaction. I'm just going to, yeah, life satisfaction, and then we're going to use the average value that is there for our work. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense now. So let's just expand this, make it bigger. Okay, so we have all charts now. We have about 5 charts looking at us, and then the last thing we are going to try to do is let's try to add filter. So go to add filter, you just come to add a control that's here, and then choose the choose drop down list, and then we're just going to let's try to just place it close to our title here, although we can just leave it there. Of course, we are free to, we are, when we are done, we are just going to expand everything, and through whatever we want to do. So set the control field. We're going to set the control field to area, right? And then I think it's just to title it. You can, let's just rename the label to something like filter by area, so that it looks more professional. Yeah, filter by area makes a lot of sense. So at this point, we are, let's just say, semi done with our work. What we need to do now is just, if there's any final edits that you want to do, maybe you want to, play around with it, maybe readjust the positions of the various charts and everything. But you can see that whenever we hover around all this, we have different things looking at us. So let's view it in a bigger, yeah. This makes a lot more sense now. So you can see our full work, our full dashboard is built already. We're looking at a community energy access dashboard for Lagos State, and we have the first chart is showing us average daily hours by grid area. So obviously we can see that Victoria Island, for example, has the highest, followed by Aja. Then we have Ikeja and Yaba sharing same values. We have Yaba, Ikorodu Lake, and we have Agege and Surulere having nothing. Second chart is on average energy burden percentage by income levels, and this is what you have here. Then the third is average hours by grid access level. You also have them here. And then you have your life satisfaction uh, based on the different hours that of lights that they have each day. And then lastly, you have your alternative energy sources and how they are shared here. So all you need to do now is to, you can go back to edit it if you want to edit, if you want to maybe you want to do a few adjustments or colors. That's left for you to play around with it. So anyway, you can go ahead now to click share. You can start to share your reports here, and then you can manage only people are there. You can change this to public, right? Anyone with the link can actually view the anyone with this link can actually be able to view your chats and all. So you can always copy your link here and then share it out so that people can see it, or you can even take screenshots of your work after you are done. Anyway, so for now I'm going to be leaving that there, because our next video is going to guide you on how to upload your work to maybe your GitHub and what have you. So here's the reason why this whole project really matters, and I want you to look closely at this with me, right? Now, remember the energy burden percentage column. Nobody ever typed that in. Like nobody. If you come back with this particular column that is here, nobody entered any particular value. Like nobody said, okay, this is how many percentage I spend on energy every month, right? But our script calculated it silently from using, by making use of two other answers, which is the income and spending, right? Now, if you look at the household from Mushin in our data, where is that? Look at the household from Mushin in our data also, you find out that the energy burden, comes out to about 90%, which is very, very, I don't know, I don't want to say the word crazy, but I mean 90% of your money, is spent on energy, right? That means that like about 90 kobo out of every single naira that household earns is simply going straight into keeping the lights on through a generator. So you would never see that number by just looking at raw number. You understand? If you just look at the raw numbers from the different forms, like if you go back to this form that is here now, the original form, and you come to the person that entered for motion, we just know that the person earns below 50,000 and spends about 15 to 30,000 of their income on energy. But you would actually have not picked that it does about 90% of their income if you didn't do the calculation by using app scripts. So someone that types in their income and someone that types in their spending side by side might not necessarily tell you, that story on its own. It's the calculation, the thing we designed in advance before a single response ever came in that just, reveals it. And that's right, there is the difference between simply collecting data and, actually trying to engineer data, actually trying to, engineer your whole data cleaning process. So anyway, that's the full auto pipeline project from start to finish. You had a form that collected data, you had a script that cleaned it and calculates it. The instant it arrives, and you also built a dashboard that shows everything live with zero manual work after setup. But I don't just want you to review this exact project right now. I want you to be able to use this same method on literally any project of your own. I want you to be able to automate your whole processes. So I'm just going to try to explain everything again from scratch. The very first thing I tried to do when we started was to try to define our research questions, which is what you had here in notepad. Stay by trying to look at our five research questions, right? Now we didn't open a form first. We stay by trying to build an outlay. That's the very first thing that you should do. Now another thing that we tried to do at the end of the day was designing our dashboard. Now the purpose of designing this dashboard is that if someone comes to this form again and submits a new response, if someone submits a new response, automatically this spreadsheet gets updated. As the spreadsheet gets automated, automatically also the dashboard gets updated. So it's like even if you give 1,000 people the form to fill, the spreadsheet gets updated 1,000 times, and the dashboard automatically gets updated 1,000 times too. Right? So another thing is write your cleaning logic in advance. Like I said, you might not know AppScript, you might not know anything about JavaScript, but if you understand how your how your workflow is supposed to be, you can use AI to try to automate some of these processes like I did. But then it's still worth learning. It's still worth learning AppScript. It's still worth learning JavaScript. In your free time, you can do that. Like I'm also trying to do. Then the first thing you should use is derived columns to calculate things that nobody directly told you to do. Like we did with the energy burden, that's a derived column, and that's actually where real insight usually lives. And lastly, try as much as possible to make or optimum use of your free and accessible tools. This entire pipeline that we did actually cost nothing. The only thing that you probably spend on is the cost of your internet or your data. But aside that, every tool that we used was completely free. The only real investment here was trying to think about what you should do. So eventually, if you build this yourself, try to publish it to your portfolio if you already have one. And if you don't have one, there's no problem, that's fine. Stick around. Our next video, I'm going to walk you through creating a GitHub account from absolute zero and also uploading this project so that it becomes something real which you can show off either to your employers, either to clients, or to anyone. I'm going to drop the link to the live dashboard. I'm going to drop the link to the text document that contains both the codes and the questions for the form. I'm going to drop the link to every single thing for you. Remember to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you check the description of this channel, you see the link to our Telegram group chat. Join our Telegram group chat, stay updated. You can also follow me on my LinkedIn, Gabriel Sunday Audio. Until then, do have a lovely time. Thank you.